Sukhihotu, and good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Once again, welcome back to the weekly Sunday Puja in Unison and Dhamma sharing online organized by Mahasatipatthana Buddhist Society and initiated by Theravada Buddhist Council of Malaysia. Today is the 6th of November 2022. Hope everyone is well and staying safe. Today's chanting and offerings will be done by Sister 𝐒𝐮𝐲 from Unison Chanting Pioneer Group, and then the chanting will be continued by Brother Terence from MSBS and Sister Felicia from Sambuddhi Unison Chanting Group. Later on, we will have Brother Casey Lee to share with us the part 2 of My Toolbox series. Without further ado, let's invite Sister May to read the offerings. Over to you, Sister 𝐒𝐮𝐲.
Thank you very much, Sister Amber. Sukhihotu and a very good morning to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Welcome to our weekly online Sunday Puja and Dhamma sharing. Before we begin the Puja chanting, let us compose our minds and reflect on the significance of the virtual offerings that we shall make with full respect to our blessed teacher, the Buddha. First of all, offering of lights. May we offer these candles, burning brightly, out of deep respect and veneration to our enlightened Master, the Buddha. May these lights symbolically guide us to the light of the Dhamma, which dispels the darkness of greed, with the light of generosity, the gloominess of hatred, with the light of love, and the darkness of ignorance, with the light of wisdom, through the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Offering of joss sticks and incense. May we offer these joss sticks and incense out of deep respect and veneration to our blessed Master, the Buddha. May the fragrance of these joss sticks and incense be pleasing unto the gods and devas. May our good deeds be like the fragrance of these joss sticks, cultivating compassion, patience, tolerance, understanding, and love towards all living beings. Offering of water. May we offer this water to symbolize our aspiration to cultivate the virtues of calmness, clarity, and purity. Let it remind us to diligently cleanse ourselves of our spiritual defilements and delusion through the cultivation of generosity, compassion, and wisdom. Offering of flowers. These flowers too we offer out of deep respect and gratitude to our compassionate Master, the Buddha. These flowers, sweet, beautiful, and choice, are clustered at the feet of our noble Master. Beautiful as they are now, they will soon, with passing of time, wilt and fade and be cast away. Reflecting thus on this very nature of unsatisfactoriness, impermanence, and soullessness, let us tread the path shown by the Buddha for the eradication of sufferings here and now. Now let us commence the Sunday Puja, chanting by giving our salutations to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha by saying Sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato สัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิทุติยมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิทุติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิทุติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปะดังสมาธิยามิอาดินนาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะดังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปะดังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปะดังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาดัฏฐานะเวรมณีสิกขาปะดังสมาธิยามิอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธปิจจาจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิดูอนุตตโรปุริสธัมมสารติสัตตาเดวมนุสสานังพุทโตภะคะวะติสวากขาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมสันดิตติโกอาคาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปะนัยโกปัจจัตตังเวริตัปโปวินิวหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาญาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาดิดังจัตตาริปุริสยุกานิอัตตปุริสปุกกะลาเอสะภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปาหุเนโยตักขิเนโยอัญจาลิกรเนโยอนุตตรังปุญญเกตังโลกัสสติวันดามิเจติยังสัพพังสัพปตาเนสุปฏิติตังสารีริกดาตุมหาโบธิพุทธรูปังสัคลังสดา Yassa mule nisinova sabbari vijayang aka patto sabbanyutang satta bande tang bodhipadapang ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita ahang pite namassami bodhi raja namatute.
Ganasarap padittena dipena tamadangsina ilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang ganda sambara yuttena dupena hang sugandina pujaye pujani yang tang puja bhajana muttamang Adivase tu no bante paniyam parikapitang anukampang upadaya padiganhatu muttamang Adivase tu no bante bojanang parikapitang anukampang upadaya padiganhatu muttamang Adivase tu no bante gilana paccayang imang anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang Vannaganda guno petang etang kusuma santatim Pujayami munindasa siri pada saroruhe Pujemi buddham kusumena nena punyena metena cahotu mokkam Pamilayati yatai dhamme kayo tathayati vinasa bhavam Akasatha cha bummata devanaga mahiddhika Punyang tam anumoditva chiram rakkantu loka sasanang Akasatha cha bummata devanaga mahiddhika Punyang tam anumoditva chiram rakkantu desanang Akasatha cha bummata devanaga mahiddhika Punyang tam anumoditva chiram rakkantu mang parang Devo vasatu kalena sasa sampatti hetu cha Pito bhavantu loko cha raja bhavantu dhammiko Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Emina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya katang Chayam kamame bante buri panya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam Achayam kamame dhamma sandittika akalika kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam Acchayam kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara.
Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang padang abisamecca sakko ujuja sujuja suvaco cassa mudu anatimani santus sako ca subaro ca appakicco ca sallahu kawutti santindriyo ca nipako ca appagabbo kulesu ananugiddo Nacakut dang sama cere kincie na vinyu pare upavadeyung Sukino wa kemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta yeke cipana bhutatti tasava tavarava anavasesa digavaye mahantava majjima rasa kanukatula Dittha yeva addittha ye ca dure vasanti avidure bhutava sambhavesi va sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta na paro parang nikubbeta nati manyeta katta cinang kanci biaro sana patiga sanya Nanya manyassa dukkha micceya mataya thani yang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakhe evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanang mettang ca sabba lokasming manasang bhavaye aparimanang Uddang ado cetiriyanca asambadang averang asapatang titang cerang nisinnova sayanova yavatassa vigatamiddo etang sating aditteya brahma metang viharang idamahu ditting ca anupagamma silava Dasanena sampanno kame suvineya gedang nahi jatu gabbaseyang punareti etena satjavajjena sottite hotu sabbada etena satjavajjena sottite hotu sabbada Etena satjavajjena sottite hotu sabbada. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Sister Sukme, Brother Terence, and Sister Felicia for the Sunday Puja. So today, Dhamma sharing will continue with the series of My Toolbox by Brother 𝐾𝐶 𝐿𝐵. So let's see what else Brother 𝐾𝐶 𝐿𝐵 has in his toolbox that helped him across his journey. So without further ado, let's invite Brother 𝐾𝐶 𝐿𝐵.
Thank you, Sister Amber, for the introduction. Happy morning and Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters. I thank you for joining this Dhamma sharing entitled My Toolbox Part 2. As I've shared in my earlier Dhamma sharing on October the 9th, I've done 3 types of meditation tools that you can use to calm the mind. So today I'm going to share 2 more tools. Yeah, so before I do that, let me share the slide and we'll pay homage to our Blessed One, the Supreme Enlightened Buddha. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's compose ourselves as I do the chanting to pay homage to the Blessed Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so today's morning Dhamma sharing will be a continuation on my toolbox, which I've also shared on October the 9th. What I'll do is that I'll do a quick recap on some of the key points that I've shared on my toolbox. And then later on, I will introduce two more tools that we could use to tame or calm the mind. We all know that we all have a mind. And most of the time, our mind, it's always classified as a monkey mind, you know, the mind that doesn't settle. So unless we spend time training the mind and develop techniques to retrain the mind to be calm and peaceful, it's always very difficult, you know, for the mind to settle. We all know that the mind goes through a number of mind states. Here is a list of it, which I've already covered in my sharing on October the 9th. You know, it can be agitated, sometimes the mind can be restless, sometimes lack of energy, sometimes the mind is doubtful, sometimes the mind even have a dialogue with us. You know, it wants something, it doesn't want something. And at other times, you'll be surprised that mind can be happy by itself. Yeah. So it can be sad, it can be happy. So if we take a moment to examine our mind, we can see that our mind is in this state. It changes from one state to another. So I also have explained that generally the state of minds are grouped together into 5 mental hindrances, which is classified as craving, wanting something. Or it can be aversion, where you see something you do not like, you want to push it away. Or at other times, the mind can be agitated, angry state, unpleasant state. Or you also would have mind where the mind is sluggish, you know, you feel sleepy, you feel tired, lack of energy. And usually this arises after our heavy meal, you know, in the noon, yeah. Or at times, the mind can be doubtful. Things that you hear, you know, your mind will talk to you and say, is this true? Is this not true? So the mind goes through these different 5 states of hindrances. Okay, and for those who are interested, you may want to read this Sutta SN 46.39, where the Buddha has explained in detail how these 5 hindrances arises, and also some of the antidotes that you can apply, yeah, to overcome these 5 mental hindrances. All right. I also have spent a bit of time to talk about one important parable taken from Sudha Sutta SN 47.8. So in this sutta, the Buddha talked about a good and a bad cook, right? So if you say he's a good cook, he knows and observes what the king's like. He's a bad cook if the cook doesn't observe what the king's like and start preparing dishes that the cook disliked at all. So just like that, our mind too should be treated like the king. We are the cook. We have to know the state of the mind so that you know, we will apply the right technique for each state of the mind that the mind is at that moment. Okay, so we have a parable of this similar, the cook and the king. And on the October the 9th, I've gone through 3 methods of meditation. The first being metta meditation. This method is extremely useful when we want to overcome anger, yeah, state of unhappiness or angry state. You could use metta as a way. Or if your mind is restless and uneasy, you could use a second method called the anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. Or lastly, if you feel sluggish and lazy, you know, so the third method was recommended, where you can use walking to energize to energize your body before you do the seated meditation. So we have gone through these 3 types of method. And today I'm going to cover 2 additional techniques known as open mindfulness and also Dharma reflection or Dharma investigation. Okay, so let's look at one sutta before I dwell on open mindfulness meditation. Now, this sutta is useful because this sutta, which is given by the Buddha to an ascetic called Bahiya, which you can find this in Udana 1.10. Yeah, for those who have some time, you may want to read this sutta in full. I've just taken an excerpt from the sutta, which just highlight what the Buddha tell this ascetic Bahiya. You know, Bahiya is a very accomplished meditator, but he thought he has attained arahantship. You know, at that moment when he reflected that, have I attained arahantship? There was a deva who was his old relative, came to, read his mind and came and told him that he is not an arahant. There is an arahant that is around where he's staying, and encourage him to meet the Supreme Buddha. So this is the dialogue. When the Buddha is about to go, he's already on his way for Amround. This Bahiya ascetic, you know, approached the Buddha and trailed him and asked him this question: can you teach me what you have discovered to be an arahant? So because the Buddha was on his way to take his arms round, he was telling him, this is not right time, Bahiya, this is not right time. And as usual, you know, this ascetic Bahiya was persistently asking him 3 times to teach him the Dharma. And the Buddha says, okay, I'll tell you a brief of what you should practice. So this is the sentence that was given to the ascetic Bahiya. So he said, Bahiya, you should train yourself thus. In the seeing, you should just see the seen. In the hearing, you just merely what is heard. Again, the sense, you only and what is sensed. And in the cognized, you only what is cognized. So this is a very short sentence which was uttered by the Buddha to this ascetic Bahiya, because Bahiya is a very accomplished meditator. With these few sentences, he understood right away what the Buddha was trying to say. Yeah, and the Buddha further gave him a little bit more line and say that if in what you see or in whatever that the sense organs pick up, right? Your attention should be, you should not be with that. So you see, you just see, you don't get engaged in the seeing. So when you are not engaged in the seeing, he says, you know, because you are not in it, so you are not with that. So when you're not with that, so you are not in that. So a very simple sentence was uttered by the Buddha to this ascetic Bahiya. So with this instruction, this ascetic Bahiya went and do a reflection, quick reflection on what the Buddha has uttered. By just following this simple instruction, this ascetic Bahiya attained arahantship. So it's from this little sutta that we will now try to look at a method called the open mindfulness meditation, right? Which is getting popularity, not very common before, but it's gaining certain level of interest and practice by many yogis nowadays. So the first thing you should remember is that this open mindfulness, the word is open mindfulness. So it's an opposite of focused attention, right? The 3 methods that we have discussed in October 9 has a fixed meditation object. So we are asked to keep our mind on the object that we have used as the meditation object through a long period of time. Let's say if you're doing walking, you just focus on the walk, that is, focus on your left and your right, your left and your right. Over time, the mind becomes peaceful and it attains certain level of composure. Or in the case of metta meditation, we are encouraged to focus on that few words over and over, repetition it. You repeat it over a long period of time. So, by doing that, the mind slowly settles, and then it's able to be peaceful and enter a state of composure. Same thing with Anapanasati, right? We are asked to focus on the breath, in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. If the mind runs away, we said bring it back again to that the same object of meditation, which is the in and out breath. So you can see that is the three techniques which discussed on October 9. Today, I just want to expose you to another method called open mindfulness meditation. There is, we do not focus on one object for a long period of time, but we focus on whatever arises at our sense base. Yeah, sense base. So let me explain a little bit how to do that. So its attention is open. So in this method, the attention is open, and we pay attention to all the six senses that we have. Okay, let me explain the six senses, which I also have shared in my other sharing. The moment we have this body, it comes with a package. We have, the eye to see, the nose to smell, the ear to hear, the body touches, the tongue can taste, and at the same time, the mind is there, which will then, perceive all this incoming sense-based information and process it, allowing us to know what is going around us. So in a simple way, we say the six senses does this function. So the eye sees. That's all. The function of the eye is to see. Yeah? The ear is to hear. The nose is to smell. The tongue is to taste. The body touches. And the mind thinks. It's interesting to note that out of these six sense bases, the five that from eye all the way down to the body, it has contact with the sense object which is present at the time. Yeah, the eye can't see what it has seen a moment ago. So whatever the eye sees or the nose smell are sense object that was presented at that moment. Okay, that's a very interesting fact about the five sense bases that we have. It always picks up senses which is present at that time. It cannot go to the past or to the future. It only recognizes whatever that is present there. I think we all know that, but we don't spend time to look at it in that way. Like, for example, when your eyes see an object, the eye see whatever that is presented to us at that time. We can't see, the eye can't see what has passed. It can only see what is still there. Okay, there's a beauty thing about the sense object. But the mind is different. The mind can, the mind can go to the past. It can go to the past and recollect what it has seen or what it has heard and what it is thinking. And it also can be at the present and also to the future. So the mind, you can see in this openness mindfulness meditation, the mind plays three roles. It can go to the past, it can be at the present, and it can go to the future. But the other five sense bases is always present, presenting the sense object to us at that very present moment. Now, understanding this is important because for us to anchor the mind to the present moment, we can actually direct the attention of the mind to this five sense bases. So that's what open awareness is all about. We anchor the mind to this, the senses that's arising at the five sense bases. Okay, so the practice is always with the eye open. Okay, so because we also need to receive stimuli in the eye. We usually do this practice with the eye, with our eye open, but not in full gaze, yeah, unfocused gaze. So your eyes open, but you don't pay attention on objects that's in front of you. You just gaze downwards, and the object that you see is not distinct. Yeah, it's not fully visible. You don't look at the colors, you don't look at the shape. You know there is something there, but you don't have to know what is that thing. The eye is open. And usually for those who are already used to, we are very used to focus attention. We have practiced a lot of focus attention meditation. Like, for example, my case, I'm quite used to Anapanasati. When I do Anapanasati, I always keep my eyes closed. But because I'm so used to keep my eyes closed, opening the eye is actually a challenge, So when I first started trying the open mindfulness meditation, somehow I will still want to close my eye because, over a long period of time, we become habitual with the way we practice. So even with open mindfulness, I try to open the eye. Unconsciously, I will just close it, So that is not the technique. The technique should be, we have to retrain our habits. If we are deploying open mindfulness meditation, we try to keep the mind, keep our eye open if we can, yeah? So we have to put a little bit more effort, retrain our practice, and say, this is, I'm doing open mindfulness meditation, therefore, I need to keep the eye open. And also, because we are so used to focus attention, our mind tend to draw towards, an object which we are so familiar. Like in my case, I tend to always fall back to in breathing and breathing in, breathing out. Even though I should direct my mind to the other sense object, but my mind tends to be drawn towards an object that I'm so used to. For example, in my example is I always bring it back to the breathing in, breathing out, which is again, it's not the right way of doing open mindfulness meditation. Okay, so what we do is that we have to use our 5 senses and the mind. We try to pick up sight, we try to pick up sound, smell, touch, and bodily sensation, all the thoughts. So instead of getting caught with all this feeling, we merely take note of them. So we try to be present with the senses that arises as a sense object. Okay, so in the practice, we do not look for sense object. Like, for example, we don't, see. You let the sight come to the eye. You don't use your ear to hear, what is the sound. You let the sound come to the ear, okay? So the method is you let those sense objects to come to the sense organs rather than using the sense organ looking for the sense object, okay? The technique requires a little bit of practice, and once you get used to it, it's quite simple and straightforward. You can enjoy this as you're doing a brisk walk in the park. You can do open mindfulness meditation where you allow the mind to pick up all the senses or all the objects that hits the senses, and you just take note of them and do not analyze what are those. The usual problem when we begin this open mindfulness is that we will always hear something and then we think we will then label it as this is the sound of a bird or sound of some insects. We try to perceive those kind of things, but in the open awareness we are not required to recognize. Okay, we're required to recognize the object that hits our sense basis. We just let it come and go. Okay, so we also do not hold on to a particular object for very long. So one at a time, and then whichever that is strongest that hits the sense organs or sense base, we just note that I'm now hearing or I'm seeing, or when you pass through some places, you get a smell, I'm just smelling. So it's touch and go. You don't hold. Yeah, you just touch and go. And then, as I explained earlier, the sense organs experience a sense object in the present and now. There's a beauty thing about it, right? So, so what we do is that the mind dwells in the past, the present, and the future. So to keep the mind in the present, we say, let's anchor it to the 5 sense base. Right? So this is a very interesting formula which is given by 𝐼𝐴 for open mindfulness meditation called ADA anchor formula. Yeah. So this is one way to steal the monkey mind. Okay, let's look at each one of this. ADA, A, the first A means accept all things that impinge the sense base. D here means you don't reject, you don't follow, or you don't ignore. You just let it happen. Okay? So you accept all things and you don't reject or don't follow and don't ignore any of this sense object that hits the sense base, and merely acknowledge them. So that is called ADA, ADA. Okay, accept, don't reject, and then acknowledge whatever that arises at the sense base. And then anchor the mind to the 5 senses. Okay, so this is a very simple formula that we can remember in open mindfulness. That is ADA anchor formula, ADA anchor on the 5 senses. And then when we are anchoring on the 5 senses, we will always try to make it free and easy. Free means you allow things to happen in its own natural way. You know, you don't structure it. Whatever comes, let it come. Easy, as anything comes along, you just take it and you don't hold it. You know, you don't accept. You just accept everything that comes to it. Touch and go. So you just know it, acknowledge it, and just let it off. But the 5 sense baseline. You try this method as you apply this technique called the ADA anchor for the open mindfulness meditation. So you can also practice this open mindfulness just like the other technique. You can also practice this while sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. Yeah. So if you are a type that always have you know, do your morning walk, yeah, you can try this method instead of walking and then allowing your mind to daydream as you walk. Try to direct your mind to the present moment by paying attention to all the 5 senses. Yeah, so touch and go, free and easy, touch and go, free and easy, touch and go, free and easy. Yeah, so you just let your sense object move freely and let the mind just move about with all the 5 sense object. Whatever that impinges the sense object, you just know it, acknowledge it, and just go on and go on and go on and go on, right? If there's thought arises, just take note there is a thought and then bring the attention back again to the 5 sense base. Don't stay too long with the mind because, as I said, the mind can move to the past, it can be the present and the future. Tendency is that, you know, the mind can trick us by thinking that we are mindful, but actually we are not mindful. The mind would have gone to the past, thinking about, you know, an experience that you had, or to the future, the things that you intend to do after this walk. You know, the mind will just move so fast that it can trick us by making us think that we are mindful, but actually we have lost our mindfulness. Okay, so just pay attention to that. Now you can also apply this in your daily chores. So when you're sweeping, you know you are just sweeping, or when you're washing the plates, just know that, you know, the washing the plates and you can feel the bubbles, the soap bubbles in your hand, or you can hear the running water from the tap, or you can even hear the plates are placed, you know, as you have cleaned it, you know, you're placing it on to your drying trays, you know, you can hear that. Or you can know that you're standing there, you know, this is your body part, standing there, your hand is moving. So you can also do this while bathing, you know, just be aware that this is what I'm doing right now. So keep your attention on tasks that you're doing. So this is one of the techniques that you can apply in your daily practice called open mindfulness meditation. The metaphor usually used for this is that, we have an open mind, and then the open mind is like this open sky, and then there are clouds moving, passing through the field of awareness. So you see the clouds moving, passing by. You have a feel. You have a feel of awareness. You don't follow the cloud. You are just looking up there. There is a feel of your awareness. Whatever passes the field of awareness, you just know that it is coming in, is leaving that field of awareness. Yeah, free and easy, touch and go. You don't tilt your head to follow the cloud. When you tilt your head to follow the cloud, then you are not using the open mindfulness method. Yeah, you are actually using focused mindfulness. You are just following the object already. Okay, so the open mindfulness is there is a field of awareness. You are standing there. There's a field of awareness. You just let the sense object come and go, and you're free and easy, touch and go. Nothing to hold on. You don't hold on to anything that you are doing at that time. Okay, so that's the first method for today's discussion. Let's look at the second one called Dharma reflection or Dharma investigation. This method is not well encouraged in meditation retreats, but this is also one of the useful ways because it's clearly mentioned as a factor of awakening. Yeah, it is 7 factors of awakening. The Bojjhanga, Satta Bojjhanga, it's listed that number 2, other than mindfulness, developing mindfulness, the second key element in the factors of awakening involve investigation of Dharma. In Pali is Dharma Vichaya. Yeah, plus all the other factors. Yeah, you can see in this 7 factors, it starts with mindfulness. Mindfulness is always the primary anchor for meditation. If there is no mindfulness, it's difficult to develop composure of the mind. So there must be mindfulness to develop composure of mind. And other than that, there is also a factor called Dharma investigation, which is very important. And then energy is definitely a need, because if you don't persistently do and develop new habit, whatever we want to do or to achieve, it won't last for long. So there is a need of energy. When we do the 1 and 2 well, then there will be piti or joy arising. When there is piti and joy is a supportive condition for you to practice even more. Because you can see that we can actually get joy without chasing after sense objects. Yeah, we can also get happiness by just watching the mind. The mind itself can generate joy and rapture, and from there calmness arises. When calmness arises, then samadhi arises. In English, word samadhi simply means stillness or composure. Some use the word concentration. When we have samadhi, then we can develop upekkha, equanimity, peaceful, stable state of mind. So I'll just spend a bit of time looking at some investigative Dharma that you can apply. Okay, so usually you can use Dharma reflection when your mind likes to think, especially if you are the type which is very intellectual. Everything you see, you want to ask why. Yeah? So when you have that kind of mind inclination, then Dharma reflection and investigation is pretty good for you to apply. Or when your mind is lazy or lack energy, you can also energize the mind by reflecting on a Dharma topic instead of leaving the mind to think of something which are not beneficial. Yeah, instead of leaving it like that, you might as well use the mind to reflect on something which is useful. Through the reflection, we might generate a little bit of wisdom. Yeah, not deep wisdom, but at least some good reasoning why this is happening or why that is happening. So that's how we can use Dhamma Vichaya to do investigation of Dhamma. One of the few popular ones is you can reflect on the virtue of the Buddha. This morning you have chanted Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddha, the 9 virtues of the Buddha. You could use that as a form of reflection. So when you reflect on the virtues of the Buddha, it strengthens our saddha, confidence in the Buddha itself. So having strong faith in the Buddha is very important on the path of practice. So when you have strong confidence, you do not have doubt arising. So one of the ways encouraged is that you may want to reflect on the 9 virtues of the Buddha, which I won't be explaining here in detail, but if you have time, pay attention to the Itipiso chanting that is done on Sunday every morning, or even on your own when you do the Itipiso, try to recollect the 9 virtues of Buddha and try to implant that into your heart. This is a self-awakened one, with all this quality in him. He has given us the way to overcome suffering. So you reflect and you rejoice in it. So there's one way of doing Dharma investigation. If you can do that, you can also apply also on the quality of the Dharma, the 6th quality of a Dharma. Again, also chanted every Sunday, or even on your own, Swakato, Bhagavata, Dhammo, Santitiko, Akaliko, Ipasiko, and all the rest of it. So when you are chanting it, recollect all this beautiful Dhamma that is mentioned in the chant itself. It's well expounded, it's self-realized, it's timeless, come and investigate. Again, gaining confidence in the Dhamma, that this teaching that is given by the Buddha, it's so sublime, it's so supreme. By following this teaching, I'm able to walk the Noble Eightfold Path and attain the freedom of suffering. So that again raises your confidence in the teaching. So that removes doubt, the mental doubt that we may have. Or you may want to do reflection also on the Sangha, looking at the community of monks who are all practicing hard, to walk the Noble Eightfold Path. So again, this is a very common chant that we always do on Sunday. Again, if you've got time, revisit back these words again, Supatipanno Bhagavato, Savaka Sangho, and all the way down there, and then deeply again reflect on the the virtues of the Sangha. They're all well attained, they are keeping their sila upright, they are wise people, and they're very dutiful. By reflecting again on this Dharma investigation, it will strengthen our saddha, our faith in the Sanghas themselves. And then, because they show us the way to overcome suffering, by having this Dharma reflection, it definitely will, reduce our doubt in our practice itself. So that's one of the 3 simple ways of using Dharma investigation. If you like, you can also investigate yourself, You can also ask yourself whether you have been keeping the 5 precepts on a daily basis or not. If you have kept the 5 precepts on a daily basis, you should be happy because, the morality that you have kept for the day, it strengthens your path to reducing suffering, because morality is the base to develop your sati, and also from sati to develop the samadhi. So it's always sila, you start from your sila, and then it develops into your mindfulness, and then from there it develops your concentration, and with concentration, you will then develop your wisdom. So it's a building block. So it's also good if you can also reflect on your own practice, whether you have been keeping the 5 precepts intact every day. And if you have kept the 5 precepts intact every day, rejoice and be happy. That's also another way of doing Dharma reflection. So I'm now coming to the tail end of Dharma reflection. I just want to go through with you a very popular sutta found in AN 5.57, Upajjhatthana Sutta. The 5 daily reflection that you may want to use. Yeah, other than the reflection on the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and yourself, you may periodically want to move to this as well, the 5 daily reflection. Just going to go through in a snapshot. So you can also use this technique. Or if your mind is thinking, you can always reflect on this. The first is, say that I'm subject to aging. I think we all know that when we are born, we are subject to these three conditions, which is aging, illness, sickness, and death. So the first is that we say we are subject to aging, and we have not gone beyond aging. We all know that we have not gone beyond aging. As long as we are born, aging will keep coming back. We are born, keep coming back. So what is the beauty about reflecting on this aging? So this aging is a good reflection, to prevent us by thinking that we are still youthful, we will not age. Some of them still think that they're young, they won't age. So by having that thinking, they might themselves do many bad ways in body, speech, and mind. So when we do wrong things in body, speech, and mind, it's going to be a consequence for us in our later life or in our future life. By thinking that, we'll never age. We always think that we are youthful, but some people say that, you should be taught this. I think if we have been taught this when we are younger, we'll be more careful with our body, speech, and mind, because we know that we will surely age one day, and let's keep our sila, our precept well by body, speech, and mind. And the second thing is that we are also subject to illness. So we are born, we'll fall ill someday, and we have not gone beyond illness. And this reflection is very good, because when we are healthy, we don't think, is it? Only when we're sick, we start thinking we are sick. So when we're healthy again, we might conduct ourselves in bad ways of body, speech, and mind. So by thinking that we will also fall sick while we have this healthy body, somehow will prevent us or reduce our bad ways of body, speech, and mind. So this is also a very essential reflection that we can do on a daily way. Firstly is aging, illness, and death. We have not gone beyond death. So most of us think that this life is perpetual. We have a permanent life, and we never think that this life will one day come to an end. So for those who think that this life is forever, they themselves also will conduct in bad ways of body, speech, and mind. So by knowing that death is just around the corner, we have to keep our sila well, so we will try our best not to fall into bad ways in body, speech, and mind. Okay, and then the fourth is separation from all that is dear. This is also important, because this reflection will prevent us from the desire and passion to hold on to things. This is mine. This is, belong to me. So again, because we have high passion, desire and passion, we will also conduct ourselves in bad ways in body, speech, and mind. In the process, we might become very possessive. We are not generous. All these are not good ways, which we will end up by believing that all this that is dear to me will always be with me, will not leave me. Okay, lastly, it's good to reflect that, we are the owner of our own karma. Whatever good or bad that we have done, we are the heir to them. The good things that we've done is going to be following us in this life and to the future life. Whatever wrong we have done, will follow us in this life and also the future life. So by knowing that the good and bad will be part of what I'll carry, so it will also prevent us from be a bit careful not to do things in bad ways in body, speech, and mind. So in a nutshell, today I've shared 2 different techniques which you can add it into your toolbox. All right. The October 9, I've said 3 tactics which you can try it out: metta, Then you can do anapanasati, you can do walking. And now with these two extra tools, open mindfulness and also Dharma investigation that you can add in your toolbox. So with 5 tools in your toolbox, just like the cook and the king. So look at the state of your mind. What is your mind thinking right now? What is the state of your mind? Is my mind restless? Is my mind angry, or happy, or not peaceful? Then you apply one of these tools to quickly bring your mind to a peaceful and happy state. Okay, so that's my Dhamma sharing this morning. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters, for joining me this morning. Now I'll pass the control back to Sister Amber.
Hello. Yeah, hello, Brother Lee. Hello. So thank you, Brother Lee, for sharing with us another 2 new techniques from his toolbox to tame the monkey mind and allows the mind to be happy and peaceful. So today we have learned about open mindfulness meditations and also about the Dharma, another technique of Dharma reflection and investigations. So without further ado, let's continue with the closing puja by Sister May.
Thank you, Sister Amber. Akasatta cha bhummata devanaga mahedika punyang tanganumoditva cirang rakkantu loka sasanang ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe dewa sabbe bhuta sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So thank you everyone for watching. Do join us again next week through these channels. Thank you everyone. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.